We have another group walking in here. So everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we actually have 5 different types of totem poles. We have honor, shame, memorial, story, and then what is called a house pole. Now looking at all these totem poles around here, does any of them spark your guys' interest and would like to hear the certain story behind that totem pole? The one with the guy on the bentwood box? All right. So this one right here is a shame pole, and would anyone like to take a guess at who's at the top of that totem pole, and I'll give you a little hint. He helped purchase Alaska.
Okay.
This one is actually William Seward. Now William Seward, I believe, bought Alaska for about 2 cents an acre, which right about now would seem really nice. And he actually came here on a lunar eclipse, and the natives thought he had the power over the moon. So they threw him what is called a potlatch. And a potlatch is a large party that can last anywhere from 3 days to maybe even a week. And if you take a look at the hat he is wearing, it is called a potlatch hat. And each ring represents one potlatch that was thrown for William Seward. So as you guys can see, William Seward got 4 different potlatches. And in the Tlingit had a culture, when a potlatch is thrown for you, in years' time, you reciprocate that with equal or greater value of gifts. Now William Seward did not know this, so he took all the gifts that he got from those 4 potlatches, put it on his ship, and headed back down to the lower 48. And that's why his ears, nose, and mouth is painted red. It is a sign of stinginess because he never returned the favor. About 4 or 5 years ago, a couple of his relatives came up here. They heard the story and they asked how much would it be to take it down. Well, they did the calculations. It'd be about $1.2 million. They said, oh, never mind. Keep that one up. So now we'll move on to this one right here with all the figures on it. This one right here is called the mystery pole, and the reason why it's called the mystery pole is because we unfortunately do not know the story behind this one, because the carver sadly passed away before he could tell the story. But looking at it, it would be quite the story to tell. Now we'll go on to the middle one right over there. That one right there is called the shaman pole. Now the shaman is the medicine man or the doctor village. The shaman would go out to the woods for about 15 years and discover different things that he'd be able to use. And you figure at the bottom is a weasel. And the reason why it's the weasel is that is the shaman's spirit animal. And the weasel would also be out in the woods, and he'd help the shaman find different things that he'd be able to use. Now we'll go on to that last one, which is an eagle at the top and a beaver at the bottom. And if you look across the street, you can see that there's a second one like it. There used to be a third one across from that one, but that third one unfortunately fell down just last year. And these are memorial poles for 3 brothers that were lost at sea due to a fishing accident. You can also tell what clan they belong to. This could also be what is called a house pole. And for a house pole, you have your main clan at the top and your sub-clan at the bottom. And I'll go over the clan systems real quick. So in the Tlingit culture, there are 2 main clans. There's the Eagles and the Ravens. And anything other than that would be more of a sub-clan, which would be basically your family's last name. How we get our clan is we are a matrilineal society, which means we follow our mother's side. So I'm an eagle, my mother's an eagle, and her mother was an eagle, which means I have to marry the opposite clan, which is the Raven. And if I were to have children with that Raven, they would follow their mother's side, and they would also be Raven. And if I were to marry outside the culture, that's when adoption would take place, and I would ask the Ravens to adopt my fiance. She'd become an adopted Raven. And if we were to have children, they'd be adopted Ravens as well. The reason why we do this is to keep the bloodlines as clean as possible. Now, you guys are probably wondering if that is Abraham Lincoln up there. Yes, it is. This one right here is an honor story between the Eagles and the Ravens. They were at war, annihilating each other off, bunch by bunch. The Eagles ended up trapping the Ravens on a beach where there was a large ship called the Lincoln Revenue. The Ravens ended up getting on that ship and asking them for help because the Eagles were overpowering them. They said, yes, we'll help you out, only for a little while. After that while, they said, this is enough war, you guys need peace. So they ended up making a peace treaty between the Eagles and the Ravens. And the reason why Lincoln is at the top is because in the Tlingit culture, you cannot put an inanimate object on top of a totem pole. So someone actually found a picture of Lincoln, but the reason why he is so short, it was only from the knees up, or else he'd be a lot taller man on top of that totem pole. Now guys may be wondering why there is a face in that beaver's tail. That is showing where the power lies in the animal, because when a beaver senses danger, it will slap its tail on the water, letting other animals know that it does sense danger. And that is also why you see a face on the paws and the nose of the bottom figure on the mystery pole, that right there is a bear. Also, maybe you're wondering why there's a couple of blank spaces. Like I said, this could be what is called a house pole, and back then everybody traveled by canoe, and how you could tell is you look at the top of the totem pole and then at the bottom, and traditionally these type of totem poles would be right in front of the clan house. The clan house and the totem pole wouldn't be this far back into the woods, they'd be right up on the beachfront because back then everybody traveled by canoe, but for the William Seward case, it wants to draw your attention towards the top of the totem pole. Now that I've gone a little bit about totem poles, we'll be heading on to our next location, which is the Carving Center, and there I'll be going a bit more in depth on how totem poles are made. So if you guys want to follow me, we'll be making our way over.